We're skipping over lesson 10.3 and moving to 10.4, inscribed angles. An inscribed angle is formed by two chords. If you remember, chords are endpoints on a circle, but not necessarily going through the center, that's diameter. Or it can be formed by a chord and a tangent. The key thing here is the vertex of your angle is actually on the circle. So here's what I mean by that. Just to the right of your definition, please draw two circles. So far we've talked about central angles where the vertex is right at the center of your circle. That means central angle. Today when we talk about inscribed angles, the angle's still technically inside the circle, but now look at where your vertex is. It's actually on the circle, not inside. That's going to change how it measures or how it matches up with the arc on the opposite side. The measure of an inscribed angle is always 1/2 the measure of its intercepted arc. So now that's different from central angles. Let's look in more detail at these three diagrams below. This is where you're going to want your two colors. I like to use one color to show the chords or the chord and the tangent of my angle, and then I use another color to look at the intercepted arc. For example, notice the angle in that first picture from A to B, and then it goes all the way through the center down here to C. The vertex is on the circle. Now the arc it intercepts is that arc from A to C on the opposite side. In the middle, same idea, but different looking kind of angle. It's still ACB, so I'm going to go from A down to B over to C. Point B is on the circle, so that angle intercepts arc AC on the opposite side. One more that looks similar, but yet again a little different. Angle ABC from A over to B down to C. Vertex is on the circle, but it intercepts that arc on the opposite side. So the formula is the measure of the angle ABC, so that's angle on the circle, by definition is 1/2 the measure of the opposite arc. So that would be the arc. So the angle is half the arc. That's all you have to remember for this. Tying in a little bit with lesson 10.2, take a look at the next picture. It says the angle of the measure formed by a tangent and a chord. So the tangent is that line on the outside, AB, and then the chord is the segment on the inside, BD, is once again 1/2 the measure of the intercepted arc. Looking at our picture in a little bit more detail, if I want to know angle ABD, I have to go in order on those letters. From A, I'm going to go down to B, and then through the circle over to D. Again, notice point B is on my circle. This is my angle on the left-hand side. Now it's going to intercept that arc on the opposite side, but notice it's not CD this time. It's going to go from B to D. And the angle is going to be 1/2 the measure of that arc. And everything with these arcs are degree measures. So everything today is going to be a degree answer. Let's take a look at some examples below. Example 1, what is the relationship between arc AB and angle ACB? So there's a couple of ways that we can interpret our definition from the beginning. An inscribed angle, so that would be angle ACB. I'm going to go from A through the center over to C and then up to B. That's my inscribed angle. Go ahead and put an arc. Well, that's a bad line right there. Sorry about that. Whoa, that's even worse. Let's try that again. If you have a second color, make sure you're kind of color coding this to match every time. There's angle ACB. Go ahead and put an arc on the inside where point C is. So C is the vertex for that inscribed angle. By definition, remember it's always 1/2 the intercepted arc on the other side. So that would be arc AB. And they're both going to be degree answers for today. What happens though if we work backwards? What if we know the intercepted, or we're trying to find the intercepted arc, how does that compare to the angle? Well, if we're working backwards, instead of being 1/2, it's going to be double or twice as big. The arc is twice as big as the inscribed angle. That's really going to be our plan today, everybody. Depending on what we know, we're either going to multiply by 1/2 or multiply by 2. Here's our next example. Given circle P with inscribed angle S, if the measure of RT is 47, what is the measure of angle S? So the given information, we know the arc. We know that because of the arc symbol. This is arc measure. That means on my circle, I'm going to just draw in from R to T, and I'm going to write 47, and it should be labeled with degrees. So let's put that degree symbol there. If we're trying to find the angle, angle S, that's this inscribed angle on the opposite side. And remember, by definition, an angle, is always half the measure of the arc that it intercepts on the opposite side. So that means our angle is measure of angle S, and the formula is half of the arc, and that's just half of 47. So you can do one of two things. You can actually write 1/2 on your calculator times 47, or you could just do 47 divided by 2. They both get you the same measure answer for your angle. 47 divided by 2 would give us 23.5 degrees. And that is the measure of angle S. And that's all you got to do. If you flip your notebook over to the next page, some of our pictures are going to get a little trickier. We just have to stick true to our formulas from the first page. In example 3, it says if the measure of arc DG is 45.6, what are the measures of angles E and F? Let's take a look at our picture and kind of see this in a little bit more detail. We know that the measure of arc DG is 45.6, and we're asked to find the measure of angles E and F. So I'm going to start with angle E. My point is on the circle, and the two sides that create the angle are ED and EG. To find the measure of angle E, remember the angle is simply half the intercepted arc. So the angle we're looking for is the measure of angle E, and it intercepts that 45.6. We're literally just going to take half of that, or 45.6 divided by 2, however you want to work it. That answer is 22.8 degrees, 22.8. So that's how big little angle E is up here on the top. So write measure of angle E, and then underline that whole thing. But then back in the directions, we're also asked to find the measure of angle F. So we know angle E, but let's look over here at our picture for angle F. Taking a look at where F is on the circle, I'm going to pick a different color for this one. This one's going to go pink. If I put a point where F is for the inscribed angle, notice F to D and F to G intercepts the same arc. So by definition, that angle should be the same as angle E because they intercept the same arc. It's also 22.8 degrees. Do you see how that matches up on the picture? So angles E and F would be the same measure. What does that help us solve in the last part of this question? It says, here we go, angles that share, we'll put share right there, angles that share an intercepted arc are congruent, like we saw in the picture on the right. Let's try example 4. It says if arc RT is a semicircle, what is the measure of angle RST? All right, let's go to our picture. Okay, if RT is a semicircle, I'm going to go from R at the top all the way around to T at the bottom. Now a semicircle is a term we've used, but we haven't seen in a while. A semicircle means halfway around the circle. That means the arc is 180 degrees. That was a definition we talked about. I believe it was in lesson 10.1. And we're asked to find the measure of angle RST from R down to S over to T. S is our vertex for the inscribed angle. How big is that angle? Again, we're just going to follow our formula that we've been applying all along. The angle, by definition, is always half the measure of the intercepted arc. We want the measure of angle RST. So we're going to take half of 180. Well, what's 180 divided by 2? That would be 90 degrees. That means the measure of angle RST, if it intercepts a semicircle, it's specifically a 90-degree angle. And that makes that picture have a right triangle on the inside of the circle. Our next example has a quadrilateral on the inside of a circle. This is going to get crazy. It says if the measure of arc ABC is 184 and the measure of arc BCD is 242, what are the measures of all the angles on the inside of the quadrilateral? All right, again, let's go to our picture. I'm going to have to use a variety of colors here, but let's start with the beginning. It said if the measure of arc ABC, so from A, go all the way around from B over to C. That major arc, that's a major arc, is a total of 184 degrees. And I'm going to stop there with my label. Take a look at the angle that intercepts that arc. So if I use my other color, and if I go from A down to D, right there, and D over to C, that angle D intercepts that arc of 184. And that's one of the four angles we need to find on the inside of the quadrilateral. So the angle is half the arc, which we've been doing all along, no surprises there. So that means the measure of angle D is half of 184, or 184 divided by 2. 184 divided by 2 is 92. That means the measure of angle D, which is one of our four answers, is 92. Go ahead and mark that in. Okay? All right, what else do we know? Then it says BCD. So I'm going to go totally a different color on this one. BCD. I haven't done green yet. Go from B, and then I have to go around from C over to D. That's a really major arc. That's a majority of the way around the circle. That's 242 degrees. So take a look at where that intercepts the circle. So now I'm going to go with, oh golly, I need a color that's going to pop here. Let's do a little purple. If I went from BCD on my arc, from B I'm going to go back up to A and over to D. Angle A right here intercepts that big major arc. So by definition, the angle is half the arc, which means the measure of angle A is half 242 degrees. That's really big. And half of 242 is just 121. That means angle A is 121 degrees. Okay, so far so good. From here, we can use a little rule about quadrilaterals inside of a circle. So quadrilaterals inside the circle, opposite angles aren't congruent, but they are supplementary. And who remembers what supplementary means? They add up to 180. If we know two of the angles inside this picture, we knew that angle D is 92 degrees and angle A we said was 121. I can go ahead and mark that. Forgot to do that before. The angle opposite angle A is angle C down here at the bottom. So we're going to give that a triple arc. Because these two are opposites, angles A and C add up to 180. Therefore, to get the measure of angle C, you can simply do 180 minus angle A, which is 121. And 180 minus 121 is 59 degrees. That's how easy we can find angle C. We don't even have to worry about the intercepted arc. And then going back to angle D, directly across angle D, we have angle B over here on that kind of top right-hand side. The measure of angle B is just 180 minus the measure of angle D, which was 92. Now this rule is applied when we have a quadrilateral, so 4 sides and 4 angles inside of the circle. 180 minus 92 would equal 88 degrees. And that's how you can find the 4 angles inscribed inside of a circle. We have 2 more examples left, so stick with me. Example 6. If the measure of arc RST is 164 degrees, what is the measure of angle RVT? So this is what we did before at the very beginning. This is going to be easy. Let's go to our circle. Just zoomed in a little bit. Okay, if the measure of arc RST is 164, I'm going to go from R over to S, up and around to T. There's my intercepted arc. That's 164 degrees. All right, let's take a look at the angle we're trying to find from R to V to T. So use your other color, go from R, now we're going to go through the circle to V, which is on the circle, and then up to T up above. We're looking for this angle measure right here. We know this formula, we've been doing this a bunch already. The angle is just half the intercepted arc. So we're looking for angle RVT, measure of angle RVT. That angle is simply half the intercepted arc, or half of 164. What's 164 divided by 2? That would be 82. Let's give that a degree answer, and that's for the measure of angle RVT. Now, the next one's written in reverse order, so let's see what we're going to do with that information. In part B, it says, if the measure of angle SPU is 79, what's the measure of arc STU? Oh boy. So this one's going backwards from what we've been doing so far up to this point to find angles. Let's see if we can recall what to do. Go back to the picture. It said if the measure of angle SPU, so angles go inside. I'm going to start at S, go down to P, and over to point U on the other side. This angle right here says it's 79 degrees. And we're asked to find the measure of arc STU. From S, I'm going to go up and over T, past T, all the way over to U over here on the right-hand side. So notice the arc intercepts that angle. They kind of connect. By rule, if we want to know the angle, or if we want to find the arc but we know the angle, we just do the opposite operation. The arc is 2 times the angle measure. So instead of taking 1/2, we're going to double it. That's it. That's all we have to do. Now our arc, remember to write it out with those 3 letters, STU, with an arc symbol above it. Let's get that notation down. We're going to double our angle, which is 79 degrees. So what's 79 times 2? 158. That's the measure of arc STU. The important thing to note, everyone, is just what are you looking for? Are you looking for an angle measure or an arc measure? And it's either going to be multiplying by 1/2 or multiplying by 2. And I think this is actually a great point where we're going to stop the video. So that's 10.4, day 1.